The old opera house stood in the heart of the town, its grandeur long faded into decay. The building had been abandoned for decades, but its eerie beauty remained. Most of the townsfolk avoided it, claiming it was cursed, haunted by the spirits of long dead musicians. They spoke of the ghostly orchestra that played haunting melodies in the dead of night, luring unsuspecting souls into its clutches. No one knew the true origin of the haunting melodies, but the legend spoke of a tragic event that had taken place many years ago. The story went that a renowned orchestra had once graced the stage, led by a brilliant conductor named Victor Sinclair. He was a man of immense talent and charisma, and his music had the power to move even the coldest of hearts. One fateful night, as the orchestra performed their final symphony, tragedy struck. A fire engulfed the opera house, claiming the lives of everyone inside, including Victor Sinclair and his beloved musicians. The townspeople could still recall the mournful wail of the sirens that had echoed through the streets that dreadful evening. As the years passed, the opera house became a place of dread. Its once resplendent halls now shrouded in darkness. Few dared to enter, but those who did told tales of strange occurrences, disembodied whispers, phantom footsteps, and the haunting melodies that seemed to emanate from the very walls. Among the brave souls who ventured into the opera house was a young woman named Isabella. She was an aspiring musician who had heard whispers of the ghostly orchestra's haunting melodies. Intrigued and unafraid, she decided to investigate the legend for herself. One moonless night, Isabella entered the decaying building. The air was thick with the scent of old wood and faded memories. The moonlight filtered through shattered windows, casting eerie shadows on the worn velvet seats. Isabella's footsteps echoed through the empty hall as she made her way to the stage. Standing before the grand, dust-covered piano, she took a deep breath and began to play a haunting melody of her own. The notes filled the abandoned opera house, and for a moment, it seemed that though the spirits themselves had awakened, the atmosphere grew heavy with anticipation. Suddenly, a soft ethereal sound filled the air, like the faintest whisper of a violin string. Isabella's heart raced as the ghostly orchestra began to materialize before their eyes. Transparent figures in tattered concert attire emerged from the shadows, their instruments raised as if to play. Victor Sinclair, the conductor, stood at the podium, his eyes fixed on Isabella with a haunting intensity. The musicians, their faces obscured by time and decay, took their positions. The air grew colder, and Isabella's finger trembled on the keys of the piano. With a wave of Victor's hand, the ghostly orchestra began to play. The haunting melodies that filled the opera house were both beautiful and terrifying. Isabella's heart ached as the music swept through her, evoking emotions she had never felt before. It was as if the very essence of tragedy and loss had been distilled into sound. Tears streamed down Isabella's face as she played alongside the ghostly musicians, her music blending seamlessly with theirs. She felt a deep connection to them, as though they shared a common bond through the power of music. The haunting melodies continued to weave their spell, drawing Isabella deeper into their grasp. Hours passed, but Isabella could not tear herself away from the mesmerizing performance. She lost all sense of time and reality, completely consumed by the haunting melodies of the ghostly orchestra. As the night wore on, the music grew more intense, its power overwhelming. Just as Isabella felt herself slipping away into the haunting melodies, a sudden realization struck her. She remembered the tragic fate that had befallen the orchestra and the opera house. She knew that if she didn't break free from their grasp, she would become another lost soul trapped in the spectral performance for all eternity. Summoning all her strength, Isabella forced herself to stop playing. The ghostly orchestra faltered, the music fading into silence. Victor Sinclair's eyes bored into her, a mixture of longing and sorrow. With the final mournful note, the spirits dissolved into the darkness, leaving Isabella alone on the stage. She stumbled out of the opera house, her heart heavy with the weight of the haunting melodies she had experienced. The legends were true, and she had come face to face with the ghostly orchestra. Though she had escaped their clutches, she knew that the haunting melodies would forever haunt her dreams, a reminder of the music that had the power to both enchant and terrify. The old opera house remained abandoned, its secrets hidden within its decaying walls, waiting for the next curious soul to discover the haunting melodies of the ghostly orchestra.